that would ultimately be in their mutual best interest. Turning back to the balcony rail, she came to a decision. She gripped the cold wrought iron, her knuckles turning white, and she leaned forward. Someone appeared in the bedroom behind Emma. Hearing the footfall, swiftly she spun around. Then she screamed out. The fall happened in slow motion, as if time had stalled to watch Emma plummet 3 floors to the flagstone patio below. The white wedding gown billowed around her as she descended, her body twisting and turning in the pale moonlight. As she hit the ground, the sound of live music was stifled by the shock and silence filling the crisp autumn air. Her startled guest rushed to her side, calling out for help, for an ambulance, for someone to do something. But it was too late. Emma Woods was dead. 25 years later. Chapter 1. No one really knew if the old house was haunted. According to local legend, the stately arts and crafts-inspired manor was cursed from day one. Built in 1913 by lumber baron William Royce Woods, the home's original owner had made a deal with a powerful Native American shaman. The shaman warned that if Woods disturbed the spirits of the land, a curse would be placed upon his family for generations to come. William, a man of science and reason, dismissed the shaman's warning as mere superstition. The lumber baron laughed off the hex, believing it to be nothing more than the tales of some old Indian. Woods proceeded clearing the 1.3-acre plot of land on the outskirts of town and constructing his grand mansion, Woods Hall, ignoring the consequences of his actions. But as the years passed, the curse seemed to only intensify. Visitors to the manor reported an overwhelming sense of unease, and many refused to spend the night when invited. All around, strange things started happening. Woods's once loyal employees deserted him, and the market crash of 1929 decimated much of the fortune amassed by his company, Woods Lumber. The unfortunate events of Black Tuesday, some believed, led to poor William's untimely demise. Or was the hex of the Native American shaman responsible for the lumber baron's downfall? Convinced of his failure and fearing he'd let down his family, the elder Woods believed he no longer had reason to live. In the early hours of a cold winter morning, the once wealthy and powerful man hung himself. He was just shy of 42. This was only the beginning of the effects felt by the shaman's inescapable curse. Fortunately for the Woods family, the lumber business bounced back after the Great Depression. Nearly 30 years passed without incident. William's wife, Fern Elizabeth Woods, née Ridge, had long ago been made aware of the wicked spell cast upon her husband. Having already reached her 70th birthday, Fern was certain that her privileged world would forever remain untarnished. However, in the fall of 58, the woman's relatively long life was cut short by a deadly virus. The pandemic caused by the H2N2 strain of influenza had already killed thousands across the globe, and soon it would find its way to the tiny historic town of Pleasant Woods, Michigan. A series of unfortunate deaths followed. First, there was William and Fern's son, William Royce II, and his wife Dorothy, who died on the same February evening after their luxury car became stranded in 4 feet of snow during the Great Blizzard of 1978. The couple, both in their middle 50s, preferred wintering in a warmer climate. That season, however, they chose a ski trip to Boyne Mountain instead of their usual Caribbean island vacation. Less than 2 decades later, Barbara Woods, the spouse of William III, lost her battle with liver cancer. She'd never drunk a drop of alcohol. Shortly thereafter, William Royce III himself perished, claimed by a massive coronary that took him kicking and screaming into the hereafter while enjoying his morning coffee. William Royce IV, a.k.a. Bill, died later that same year, along with his brand-new bride and former housekeeper, a single mother named Kathleen. Tragically, the private plane carrying the newlyweds to their Mackinac Island honeymoon went down over Lake Huron. They left behind a pair of orphans, a 2-year-old girl belonging to Bill, and Kathleen's 11-year-old son. But perhaps the most questionable passing occurred a quarter